Fine, I'll go build my own lunar lander with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the lunar lander and the blackjack.
All right, everyone, welcome to ToQger Episode 3, Raptor and D-Jedi's Vlogs. Today's episode brought to you by Nigori Sake. Alright, so D-Jedi, what are your initial thoughts on our episode?
Overall, not a bad episode. Definitely a good character builder episodes for Kogori, Tokyo 5. Really built on her and definitely showed the relationship that obviously was going to happen between her and Wright. I mean... Yeah,
because it's always inevitable that a red and a pink get together.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's Gokaiger with asexual Marvelous.
Yep.
And... it's a pink focus episode, and it's gotten to that point, because you have the first few episodes establishing the setting, and now we're into the character episodes. The filler, but, I always enjoy a character episode. Something I really liked that I saw was the idea that there's a limit to her imagination powers.
Oh, yeah?
Well, remember, because every time that she fired off her... she did her Supergirl or Kung Fu Girl thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the past few episodes, whenever she did that, she would just destroy everything around her. However, with this episode, the other ToQgers confirmed that she can summon up too much power and kill herself.
Yeah, I guess that is a good point. The power of imagination can be a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, and I like the idea that they can't just use it for unlimited power, because if you think about it, that would kind of kill the drama of it all.
Yeah, that wouldn't be... Mm-mm.
And, so if you notice we're not spirited today, it's just because, in a Sentai, the first few episodes always have the highest energy. Because the first and last episodes of a series, always bam, 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 bam. And this is the part where it's slowed down. This is the part where they start allocating less budget to it. But I agree with DJ. It's a nice character piece for her. Another good development to the story was that they can remember their first names, but not their family names. Mm-hmm. And it's confirmed that towns are being lost to darkness.
Which any Kingdom Hearts fans out there will know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So I think that whole darkness thing, it is really the only way to go when you're dealing with the quote-unquote darkness. It's been used before, even before in Kingdom Hearts, but...
I guess it works for this series because it's about imagination
mm-hmm.
and spirit and will. And so, you have the bright colors of the rainbow representing imagination, potential, and whatnot. And then you have just blackness.
Mm-hmm.
So they make a good counter for each other.
Mm. Another thing with the whole steampunk projections thing. The monster was rhyming, and he was just singing the whole song the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sure that this episode probably scared a lot of Japanese kids. I haven't read anything in the news about it, but yeah, just keep going. That's creepy.
Yeah, no, it definitely seemed like it was aimed to be nightmarish towards.
Yeah, here's some nightmare fuel for you guys. This monster that's made of chains is dragging a coffin around, kidnapping children, chaining them up, and throwing them inside his coffin. And unfortunately, Pink is a victim of that. And that actually leads me to one of my issues with the episode. And as I said before, it's a cool character piece on Pink. She really gets to shine. However, it's not until Wright breaks into the coffin that she's able to escape. Because he breaks in there and he offers to bust her chains with his sword, mm-hmm. but only at that point does she decide, I'm going to do this on my own.
I think it was more or less kind of like a proving thing to write to show that she is capable of doing it, because they did have the flashback into the pool to kind of help figure
Yeah,
out
he
whether,
was constantly patronizing her throughout the episode.
Yeah, he was putting her down quite a bit at the beginning. Like, you can go if you want to, I don't care. Just kind of just like,
So that's a good point, you know? It's like, yeah, I'm just going to wait until you're here. Oh, yeah, you're here. Now watch this.
Yep.
And also, maybe this is me looking too much into it. Maybe I'm picking up too much from Barkeep here. But it's when they're fighting the monster, she's doing it by herself. The other guys are just sitting around watching, you know, because they're a team and all. And it's stated that she will destroy herself if she uses her imagination too much. She will forget her limits, push herself too far, kill herself. And so they interrupt this awesome finishing move that she's charging up,
making Pink the strongest character on the Sentai.
and so then Right knocks her out of her big finishing move, and then they have this tender moment where they remember a time when she was young and he rescued her from drowning.
Oh, so cute.
And then when they return to the fight, they allow her to finish him off, except they do the rail change so that she takes on Red's powers. Despite the fact that I would think she's perfectly capable of taking that monster down with her pink powers.
Still, you gotta admit, it was badass having Red go in there as Pink and surf the rail sword all the way
That
down.
was really
Yeah.
cool. And, you know, they keep getting better with that, because last week they had the splitting rails when they shot the Resh out, and this week they're surfing on the rails. That is pretty awesome.
Speaking of finishing up the finishers, when they fired the Tokyo Blaster after the Resh is gone, this time it was a pair of bolt cutters for the chains. As we also remember in the first episode, it was a whole shit ton of statues of crying children. So I think it depends on the enemies and what it is how the Resh is going to build. Or not the Resh, excuse me, the finish is going to be. So I think each episode is going to somehow be a personal episode from now on. And it's going to incorporate that because the quote-unquote imagination of it. So
Well, yeah, even if it's not personal episodes,
yeah, it's still going to be like...
It's personalized for the monster.
Exactly.
So I actually hope this keeps up. I hope they don't fall into a rut of just using one thing over and over, because it was really cool.
Yeah, like being able to like switch it up, be like, whoa, sweet.
And you know, something that I'm starting to realize, if it continues on like this could arguably be the most powerful Sentai team.
I'd agree with that.
Because this is like Green Lantern of Sentais. Whatever they imagine becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
You could make an argument that the Magi Rangers would be more powerful because they're using magic, but the Magi Rangers are limited by their knowledge of magic. The Tokyugers have a pretty good grasp of their imagination powers already.
Considering it said that the reason they survived and got onto the Rainbow Line is because of their imagination, and Bryce was so strong that he just ended up on the Shadow Line for whatever reason.
Yeah, and they're only going to get better with that.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna keep going and going, and I'm really excited to see where this is going.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that it slowed down from the awesome pace of the first two episodes, but you know what? Yeah. And okay, so one more thing I want to talk about. Next week's episode is about Blue losing his rails. And in this episode, the reason that Pink was captured by the monster was because she had stepped off of the train and the train left without her. And so she was stranded at this bumfuck rail station in the middle of the woods, and that's why she got jumped by the monster.
Peace Valley to Death Valley.
Yeah, so we're having these train technicalities. That's the limit to their imagination powers.
Oh, and don't forget about the Rainbow Line pulling a freaking reverse K-turn there.
Yeah!
Like, straight up, just like, I understand, we must go back for her. Like, emergency line switch, reverse, line switch, go forward.
Except the conductor was willing to do it, but Ticket was like,
fuck
nope.
Ticket. Oh, and speaking of Ticket, Wright is getting close to pulling him off his hand.
Yeah, because he is convinced that the conductor is just doing an elaborate ruse. However, I'm really wondering... Actually, you know, I'm thinking that Ticket's his own entity, but, you know, he could very well be just the conductor.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's a trap.
And oh yeah, and we also have our robot assistant Wagon taking selfies at the beginning of the episode.
Dusty, clicky, clicky.
Yeah, and then she's like, doing it all sexy. It's like,
just you have that in kid shows. Well, I guess it's Japan, but still.
Well, I mean, come on, you had episodes of Gokaiger where Luca was getting groped. And actually, if you've seen Akiba Ranger, Akiba Red has a fetish for cute robot girls, so he'd probably be losing his mind during that scene. But anyways, any more thoughts on this episode?
Not really, no. It was kind of pretty much a basic one. Just covered really kind of what we needed to know about pink. Now we're going to work on blue and then green and yellow and so on and so forth. And it's just going to keep building with that. And I think it's going to slow down up until 14, 15 when the sixth
guy when we start getting But, maybe, to go off of that theory, that the theory that Orange is not going to be the official Sixth Ranger, maybe we'll get some shakeup sooner with him arriving.
Maybe he'll kind of be like Aberkiller, but not evil. Like, be on the side, like, show up, help out, but do his own thing. But
maybe
not be a part of, like, the official Sentai until later. He'll show up, be, like, an ally, but not necessarily an ally. Like, your enemy is my enemy. Let's team up. All right, screw you. Fuck you. Goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Abba Ranger, I'm gonna divert this here for a moment because, our vlog hasn't taken that long, so... Anyways... Abba Ranger comes from the word abare, which is to rampage in Japanese. And for those of you who keep up on current animes, one I'm watching right now is Kill la Kill, from the director Gurren Lagann, my favorite work of fiction. And the character Mako is incredibly hyperactive. She spurts out random words, and in the most recent episode, she was trying to encourage the main character, Ryoko. And at one point, during her hyperactive spiel, she says, "You have to rampage." And when she says the word rampage, she holds her arms out and she has blades just like the super modes.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw that?
I saw that.
My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, that is so cool. But speaking of the other character episodes, I'm really looking forward to Yellow getting a character episode. She is the one that we have learned the least about so far.
She is the Troy of, like, I can't believe I'm saying that, but she is the Troy of Tokicher. Just the complete blank slate personality.
Yeah, well, Gia is more of a blank slate than Troy is.
Well, that's because Troy finally must find Robo Knight.
Yeah, I mean, Blue hasn't had his character focused episode, but he shows enough personality that we get an idea of who he is.
Yeah, I mean, his character focus episode is definitely going to be the next one. And it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to it.
Yeah, we'll learn about his history, which will be nice. But, yeah, looking forward to that one. I'm really optimistic for this series.
It shows potential, so...
Exactly. I really love the universe, even if it's, ripping off one of my favorite video games.
And getting into Barkeep, I think that his biggest problem with everything that we discuss is the fact that he thinks in this universe and he can't think in that universe.
Exactly.
Too logical there, man.
Logical relativism, my friends.
That's coming from a Vulcan. No, I've been called a Vulcan before.
I never thought of you as a overly rational thinker.
You'd be surprised.
Well, anyways, thank you for watching, guys. We will be back next week with episode 4, and hopefully we'll be back sometime this weekend with a Super Mega Force vlog. We just catching up with Barkeep.
Mm-hmm.